What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Facebook Unpopular Opinions sent into us by you guys, and we've got John and Slav back with us today, getting ready to get stuck into these unpopular opinions. First up is from Lyndon James. He says, Michael Dawson was a slow, clumsy, terrible defender with terrible positioning that cost us so many goals, but because he stayed loyal to a club, he was nowhere near good enough to represent. He's loved by quite a few fans. He'd be fifth choice at his peak in our squad, now behind Foyth and Dyer.
I don't know if you can really... I mean, I love Michael Dawson.
He is going hard on Michael Dawson there, man.
Why Dyer? Why does he put Dyer in there as a centre-back?
Yeah, centre-back. He said he'd be behind Foyth and Dyer.
Dyer's awful, come on, we all know that.
But it's not even about who we have.
Do you think Dawson...
It's not even about who we have now.
He's better than Dyer at centre-back.
Michael Dawson was...
Slow, clumsy and terrible defender.
No, he was slow.
He was slow, yeah.
A lot of defenders are.
Dawson, when he first came, he was... I remember he was in the English squad.
He is what we
need
now, a leader.
Yeah, I think Dawson, positionally, I think he's definitely doing him a disservice. I think he was slow. I don't think he was that clumsy, but he wasn't amazing on the ball.
Dare to Dawson, the 90-yard cross long ball.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
no, Dawson who? Yeah, you're
Dawson
doing...
pings out to the left
diagonals.
mid.
He has some good diagonals.
He was full of passion.
Those diagonals are better than Toby's.
But let's be honest, his personality, we did love him for his character, that's the thing.
He also blocked everything. He doesn't care if it killed him, he would have blocked it.
Dawson...
good in the air. Yeah, he was a little bit slow. He was a little bit slow.
In his last couple of years, he definitely got caught up with him, and there's a reason he went to QPR and no one better when he left. Was it QPR? Hull, sorry. He went to Hull, sorry, when he left, and he didn't really go to anyone better. But to call him, he was slow. Was he clumsy though? And then did he have terrible positioning?
I think he had good position.
It's not great. I mean, he was never great.
Because he was slow, I think he positioned himself well because he knew that he wasn't quick.
He was always good when he played alongside Ledley King.
Everyone was though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But when Dawson was like alongside Kabul or something,
there was some great
tackles
tackles from Michael Dawson over the years.
I
think he's doing a disservice there.
A little bit. I mean, he's being a little bit trolly with that comment.
Yeah,
club captain for many years.
For a couple of years, AVB tried to sell him, but he always looked like for that goal against Chelsea. I'm not having any of that. I'm not having any of it.
Yeah, I remember he scored an absolute bullet of a volley at Villa.
Yeah, that's right. That was a great goal. It wasn't much of a goal scorer, Michael Dawson, but when he did get him, he was important.
He loved Tottenham as well.
Yeah, he did.
And
great character.
All we ask for at Spurs is really people that love the club as well. It's great having the talent and all the ability, but if you don't love the club that you play for, no one's going to like that. For example, Dimitri Payet at West Ham is a wonderful footballer, but by the end they all hate him because That's true. They had no passion for the club.
Yeah, but the flip side of that is you can get 11 players that love the club that are absolute shite. So.
Yeah, but we don't have 11 of them. But it's always good to have a one or two. And I think at the time when we were going through our best stage, Michael Dawson was always a first name on the team sheet.
He was, pretty much from all there.
Yeah, I don't know about first, but yeah.
Well, King and Woodgate kept him out, but they will never fit. So, all right. Next unpopular opinion. This is very unpopular. James Doyle says Modric was overrated. Very good, but not world class.
Yeah, that's why he's won 4 back-to-back Champions Leagues.
He says this isn't Spurs, by the way. He obviously went on to have an unbelievable career with Real Madrid.
And win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, but he's saying at Spurs he was overrated. He wasn't world class at Spurs. That is James Doyle's opinion.
He was on his way to being world class. He was brilliant.
I'd completely disagree. I think he was definitely world class at Spurs, especially in his last couple of years. Unbelievable centre midfielder.
It was as if someone went like this with Moussa Dembele and just squished him a bit.
Literally, man, the guy had glue attached to his boots. He was left foot, right foot, controlled games.
Agility,
man, this guy.
Passing range.
There's a reason why he went to Madrid.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I really liked? Harry started to play him just in front of the back four. And I really like that because I think
he's very similar to Mateo Kovacic at Chelsea.
Because he understood the need to have like a real baller just in front of the defence, and Modric can actually play that role and sort of like be very good
box
on the ball, but very positive on the ball as well. But he was
Luka was unreal.
Underrated. How
but you were right. He's on his way to being world class because I don't think you could consider. Oh, sorry, did you say he's on his way to being world class? Because I don't think you can consider him world class.
No,
but I think
he has gone
now,
on,
or
he's gone on to be one of the best midfielders of recent time.
I think in those two
won
seasons
everything there
Spurs,
is to win.
In his last 2 seasons Spurs, I think he was world class. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's why Madrid signed him because they could see that
goal against Bolton.
Oh, Beautiful. And Liverpool. He scored a belter against Liverpool as well. He scored absolute belters.
I mean, it was a penalty that scored when we won at Anfield.
Yeah. But it's just his passing range, his dribbling
hit the post from 25 yards, but that led to Lennon.
Yeah, that's right. He had some great moments.
So,
Modric, man, you can't say he was over.
He was like the pulse in the team. He was like metronomic passes.
James Dorr, I think, has got that wrong. Richard Gianella says, it's inherent in the fan base to find a scapegoat in the squad. If they move on, we just find another.
Well, I think that's with every single fan base.
Yeah, it's probably with every fan base.
Every club.
That's true.
You could go through every single team in the league and list their scapegoat.
There's a scapegoat. Who's our scapegoat at the moment?
Everyone goes to Overrated, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, someone across the back four usually. Or a Winks. Because realistically, somebody makes a defensive mistake.
We've got plenty of scapegoats. We've got plenty.
Yeah. Even people use Jose as a scapegoat.
Ed Payne says, Tottenham has a soft underbelly and hardly turn up for big away games. That's not unpopular, mate.
True.
Completely.
Why is that?
I think that's been fact forever.
No, but why is that always the case?
It's just in our blood, mate.
It's in our blood. That's the thing, right? And I don't think there's this. We used to say this in the 90s. We used to say even if we had Brazil playing for us, we'd still bottle it. Do you know what I mean? Even if you had 11 of the Brazilian first teamers playing in a Spurs shirt, we'd still bottle it. There's something in our DNA. I don't know what it is, but there is that soft underbelly. Even when we had the best defence, we had the best back five, we still looked crap defensively when we played away from home. Do you know what I mean? We couldn't hold on to leads. Why? There's something in our psychology.
I think that's what it is. I don't think we have a soft underbelly. I just think we can't hold on. I remember a prime
saying.
example this season was, you will remember when we were at Everton and we were 1-0 up with 10 men, and because of the injury to Gomez and all the VAR, there was like 10 minutes added time. And we waited until the very, very last minute of added time to concede the goal.
So Spurs.
I mean...
Why are we Spursy? Why though? I
think it started to change under Pochettino. I did think so.
I don't think it did. Chelsea, Man United should have won those games.
Happens at Anfield every year.
No, I'm saying in the peak Pochettino's, it started to change a bit. We weren't as soft.
Yeah, we were still losing away from home in games that we should have won. Like Arsenal, we were a goal up, concede. You know, how many times did we ever beat Liverpool?
We were 2-0 up this year at Arsenal and still lost, still drew.
Yeah. There's still that psychological deficit within us that we just like we are bottle jobs. We do sit back and we do like, and the only way that we were going to beat Ajax in that semi-finals, if we were 2 goals and we had to score 3, that was the only way. If we got those first 2 goals, we'd have just sat back and probably lost it. Do you know what I mean? We've lost the last 8 FA Cup finals in a row. Why? We probably lost, I reckon, 14 out of the last 15 penalty shootouts.
Although a couple of those...
Come on, why? What's wrong with us?
We have a psychological problem.
We have a psychological problem.
I mean, we bottle it at Anfield every year. We go 1-0 up at the Emirates every year and don't win. We go 1-0 up at Chelsea sometimes.
Exactly.
Pochettino always spoke about the mentality.
We go 1-0 up everywhere and usually...
Because we haven't got over
the line. We were 3-0 up at West Ham. We were 3-0 up at West Ham 2 years in a row and still almost bottled it.
Okay, I've got this theory, right, and I actually think that it's a double-edged sword, right? Because as fans, we get very anxious when we're a goal up, right, and we're kind of watching Spurs, and it's like we're starting to feel Spursy because it could, and so we actually transmit that onto the pitch because they say the fans are the 12th man, right? Well, not just positively, but they also would feel the negative aspect of that as well, right? They're going to be picking up on the anxiety.
I have a different view on that,
and I actually think that it's a shame because until we win something, we're always going to be projecting that anxiety onto the pitch. And AVB actually spoke about it, and he says the atmosphere is creating a very negative, anxious vibe. I think energetically, I don't want to sound like Glenn Hoddle too much here, but energetically, there's that anxiety coming from all the Spurs fans, and the players do pick up on it. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you.
I don't disagree with you. I think you're right, but also I think when you're on the football pitch, a lot of the time you sort of do block out everything that's around you. You're just focusing on the pitch. So there is 2 sides of it. I think there's that side,
and also they feel the anxiety.
I think they pick up on the energy.
More so with a crowd that wouldn't be projecting so much.
But I do think that when you are on a football pitch, you sort of block everything that's around you, and you just focus on your football that's on the pitch.
No, I disagree. Can you think about when the crowd's really behind you, the player said, the atmosphere is terrific today, right? That helps, that harnesses that. It's like a fuel for them, isn't it? Think about the big Champions League games where they're really up for it, Think about any sports event like boxers when they've got 100,000.
But then why is it then? But then why? Then you can argue why is it when we have these big Champions League? Like remember Ajax at home last year, and everyone was up for it. The atmosphere was amazing. It was a pathetic performance.
Probably because we were pathetic as a team. That's why.
But then you've just said that you should be up for it, and they should feel the atmosphere.
They do. But we were so poor. Because we were so poor that even with that atmosphere, it didn't help. That's what I'm saying.
And also, I think once Ajax started to dominate, they could feed. There's still a bit of negative energy from the crowd. Once the crowd started to see that, I don't know. I think there's...
It plays a part.
I think it definitely plays a part. I think the Spurs fans... I think Pochettino hit the nail on the head when he said the mentality of the Spurs fans has to change from a mentality of always not having the confidence that they're going to get over the line to try and have a big kind of team
like
mentality. Exactly. Yeah. And we don't have that as fans.
No, we don't.
Definitely a negative... It's not just on the pitch. It's also off the pitch. Whenever we start struggling, we start to fear about players leaving. We start to get on players' backs.
Absolutely.
We start to have this inferiority complex, like, oh, this player's going to leave us, this guy's going to leave us, and then all of a sudden it turns negatively around on players as well. And I think it's the culture of a club that we definitely need to. I think it's never going to change until we start
winning something. And again,
up.
It comes from the top. That ambition and that culture has to come down like a pyramid system down into the footballing side. And I think from the top it has to be loads more. They have to feel like winners at the top, and then it will trickle down to us.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Brilliant. Ben Thornbury says, sell Kane to Man United for 200 million. Would you take 200 million for Kane?
Yeah, but not from them. Next.
Not for Man United.
I don't want him going in. Why would you?
No, I wouldn't. Would you take 200 million for Kane?
I'd take 200 million if he was from Real Madrid.
The problem is 200 million is like a massive amount, right? But as soon as we sell him for 200 million, suddenly the market all goes up.
That's true.
And then
who are we going to get?
Everyone's going to be. Then you'll find like loads of players will be sold for 200 million, and suddenly in a few years' time it'll be like 300 million, 400 million. Then Kane's 200 million will feel like peanuts. I know that sounds silly, but that's actually what happened with Walker.
I just wouldn't sell it.
What happened with Carrick's, what happened with Walker. All these signings, that felt like good transfer fee at the time, didn't it? Money for Walker and for Carrick.
What did we do with it? Yeah.
And now looking back, we're thinking that's peanuts.
I actually thought 50 million wasn't enough for Carl.
Yeah, I thought we could have got more for Carl
Best
Walker.
right back at the time. Best right back
I
in
agree
Europe.
with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark Weiberg says Christian Eriksen's corner kicks were actually great.
No.
Next.
That's very unpopular. I tell you something. I think they were underrated.
How much variation did he have though?
Not a lot.
He only
had
the outswinger.
I think in his first couple of years, we actually got quite a few from corners.
We always had a couple every year.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
We always had a couple every year.
Yeah, we actually had more than most teams.
But they just weren't. When they mattered, they weren't great.
But no, the problem is he just kept hitting into the first man way too consistently. That's very unpopular. Stuart Day says Nasser Chadli was fucking dog shit.
No, I don't know. He wasn't dog shit. I think he was almost
unpopular. Underrated. Do you think we should?
Because he wasn't. It's because he's not blessed with pace.
The problem with Chadli is he had great techers about him. He reminded me a little of Pavlyuchenko. Had that same sort of style about him.
Slowest
but he was too much of a show pony, a lot like Pav. Just trotted around. He was too much like he was almost too pristine with his hair all the time. And just trotted around like kind of his posture's like this. He wasn't really digging in. He wasn't really mucking in like the dog work in midfield. He was just a bit too much of almost a luxury player in a way, a bit of a show pony. But he did come up with some big goals. He did come up with
that goal at the Emirates though.
Yeah. Oh man.
He had good he had good technique about him, I thought. And he did score a lot of goals.
His second season at the club, I think he got like 13 goals that season, and he was producing quite well.
We were reliant on him.
And I thought we let him go a bit too soon. Maybe another season we could have kept him. I thought whenever he was called upon, he did a decent job.
Palace, and everyone goes on about that Dele Alli goal at Palace. People forget that 2 minutes later, Chadli scored from 30 yards.
Exactly. Yeah. So he had good technique about him.
He is a good player.
He's not dog shit. He's no way dog shit. I think he's a little bit underrated.
He plays for Monaco now. He's
but he hasn't since he left Spurs. He hasn't done great. He wasn't great at West Brom.
He didn't have that work rate. He didn't have the work rate.
You think he has a problem? That's why Pochettino let him go.
Exactly. He wasn't a Poch type player.
Well, could he have been Mourinho type player?
Possibly.
I remember in that 5-3 game when we beat Chelsea, he was one of our best players that day. He was unbelievable.
Him
and Kane. I thought in that season he was one of our better players, and I thought maybe we could see more of him. Probably the most unpopular opinion we're probably going to get. Ian Barney Jeffrey, I don't know how you've written this. Julius Campbell wasn't that bad.
As what? A footballer?
No, just wasn't that bad.
Bad lad. He said a bad lad.
He wasn't a bad lad.
Yeah, I can't believe he's saying that. That must be a gooner.
He was a Judas.
Simi, can you tell the story about what you said to him Just
when I saw him in the football
So
awards.
Simi actually bumped into him and he had gone, tell the story.
Well, yeah, I wanted to know his opinions on club loyalty. So I asked him, what's your opinion on club loyalty? And he just wasn't happy with that question.
What did he say?
He showed me down, like, why are you still talking about this? You should get over it. I was just saying, why should we go over it? Like, I don't understand. You sold out your club.
Did you say that?
That's the fact of the matter is.
Fair play. Fair play. I love that.
What is his opinion on club loyalty?
Sim.
Sol Campbell, I've got no time for him.
Sol Campbell nil.
This guy, I'm sorry, he is
Disgrace.
the biggest traitor in football history. Can you think of a more treacherous
Figo?
act? No, how this guy. I'm sorry. This guy grew up at Spurs, right? He came through the academy. He was known as the club as we brought him through as a player. He was captain at Tottenham, right? He knew what it meant to be Spurs. He was captain and through the academy at Spurs. He said he was going to sign a contract, right? We thought maybe we'd get some money for him. At the end of his contract, the next day, without telling anyone, he turns up at Arsenal, right, and signs for them. Our biggest rivals, he knew what that was going to do. He's not an idiot. He knew what that meant. There is not a bigger traitor than Sol Campbell. To say he's not a bad
Bring
lad,
it home, man.
You
Bring
can
it home.
do one here. He is the worst lad, not just a bad lad. He is the worst.
No, I
Sol
totally
Campbell
agree.
could do one,
I totally
and that's
agree.
that's why his mental state.
So
isn't
here
good
we are,
enough.
Tottenham TV.
Yeah, no, well said.
Here we are, Tottenham TV.
Sol
We
Campbell
are
went
big Sol
nuts in his
Campbell
later
fans.
career. It's a reason why he's not a good manager now. It's a reason why he's never going to have respect, and it's a reason why he's a bit loopy now because he can't handle the fact what he did to the Tottenham fans.
I agree. I
Sim-
think he went off the rails mentally.
So Sim,
Correct.
Do you like Sol Campbell?
I think I've answered that question.
Yeah.
Sol Campbell,
do
one, mate.
No, yeah, what a stupid... I can't believe you read it out.
Anyway, that was an Unpopular Opinions episode, Facebook edition, episode 2. Let us know in the comments below, what do you think about those unpopular opinions? Thank you, John. Thank you, Slav, for coming on.
Thanks to you. Passion.
Sorry,
Big
it gets me rolled up.
thank you to Sim
Hey,
for...
give him some.
releasing his
If you
emotions.
know a bigger traitor than Sol Campbell, please let me know in the comments below and I'll tell you how wrong you are.
Rate his passion out of 10 in the comment section.
Thank you very much for joining us, and as always, come on you Spurs.
Well done, Sim.